pre-dawn raid by Nicolas Maduro's secret police resulted in the arrest of one of interim Venezuelan President Juan Guaido's senior aides. Guaido, meantime, is holding rallies and claims the embattled Maduro's regime cannot last much longer.
High-stakes brinksmanship on the world stage between the United States and Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro's government. After U.S. aid was burned at the border by gangs loyal to Maduro, the Trump administration continued ramping up the pressure on the embattled leader to leave office, something Maduro has steadfastly refused to do. After interim President Juan Guaido's top aide was arrested by Venezuelan intelligence operatives on March 21st, Trump's national security advisor, John Bolton, fired off a tweet threatening even more sanctions ahead. Though all of the Venezuelan borders are officially closed, more than 40,000 desperate Venezuelans are escaping into Colombia every day. Most are hoping to find some kind of work in order to send help to the families they left behind. Catherine has been living here on the street with 2 of her children.
I've been here 4 months working as a porter.
She tries to make a living helping others carry their supplies back across the dangerous river crossing into Venezuela. But there's lots of competition.
Sometimes I have to fight the other porters because everyone wants the same car, you know?
The sense of frustration reached a boiling point weeks ago when gangs loyal to Maduro burned aid sent by Colombia and the United States. Catherine, along with many others, are bitter about what happened.
If we go back, it won't be any better. At least here my kids can eat.
Cracks are appearing in the ranks of the armed forces as well. These 2 soldiers threw down their arms February 23rd when they were given orders to fire on their own people. Sergeant Major Darwin Malaguera says morale in his unit was at rock bottom.
February 23rd was the breaking point. When we saw what was happening, we decided we wanted to be on the right side of history, and we made the decision on our own to cross over to the Colombian side.
First Sergeant Omar Carrero was on the bridge that day watching the tragedy unfold.
Many times we had talked about defecting amongst ourselves, but we're very afraid one of our superiors would hear us, because if they did, we'd be thrown in prison automatically. But finally, in small groups, we made the decision to cross. On the very same day, the secret police showed up at my house, looking for my family. Thank God they weren't home.
Eventually, over 1,000 soldiers followed suit, including some officers. But many more are still afraid.
I can say that 98% of the troops in the army would like to see a change of government.
To keep his stranglehold on power, Nicolas Maduro has been arming gangs of criminals who swear allegiance to his regime. Called colectivos, these gangs currently control this border, and everyone who comes across has to pay. For the time being, these Venezuelan soldiers can only wait, hope, and pray the regime will collapse under the weight of its own evil. But they do have a message for America.
Please keep supporting us, putting pressure on in every possible way. I'd like to say with military force, but I know that would result in lots of bloodshed in Venezuela. We don't have a plan. We're simply ready and willing to follow the orders of our president, Juan Guaido, every day.
In Cúcuta, Colombia, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Thank you, Chuck. A reminder to check out our CBN News Daily Rundown podcast with Caitlin Burke. She gives a behind-the-scenes look at a key story in the news every day. You can find it at cbnnews.com on the show tab. Click on its title to listen and subscribe. After the break, more flooding in the Midwest. We take a look at what's to come as residents work to clean up the mess.
Parents, the Superbook Bible app is a great way to get your child reading the Bible because in today's busy world, we can use some help. The free Superbook Bible app has fun stuff your kids will love. They'll have a blast learning the Bible, playing great games, watching cool videos, discovering heroes in the Bible. They'll have fun while they learn God's Word. The Superbook Kids Bible app, available now.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Discover the I wills of God. I will rescue him, protect him, answer him, be with him in trouble, deliver him, honor him, satisfy him with long life, show him my salvation.
What I felt was loved and treasured.
God spared my life twice in 3 days.
The good Lord had given me a second chance.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or visit CBN.com. The I wills of God, the latest teaching from Pat Robertson.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Rainstorms are expected later this week in the Midwest, just as residents are cleaning up from major flooding. The National Weather Service said that more than an inch of rain is expected to fall in Nebraska and Iowa later this week. Weather officials say the storms between Wednesday and Friday could create a foot rise in the level of the Missouri River, but it's not clear yet how much additional flooding that rise could create. Recent flooding in the Midwest is blamed in 3 confirmed deaths, and 2 men in Nebraska have been missing for more than a week. Joining us now with more is Weather Bell meteorologist Joe Bastardi. So, Joe, what can people in the Midwest expect in the days ahead?
Well, Nebraska and Iowa have been ground zero for all of this, especially Nebraska. And come Thursday night, Friday, cold front's going to go through, and it's going to start raining in back of that for a time, and then change over to heavy snow. Much of the state in Nebraska was going to get 3 to 6 inches of snow Friday afternoon, Friday night, and northern Iowa. So it's sort of a mixed bag. While liquid amounts from this may wind up being half inch to an inch. Half of it's going to be snow, if not more. Eventually, I mean, at this time of year, the snow melts off in a couple of days. That would go into the rivers. What would be a blessing, I think, is that if it went into the rivers slower, if it wasn't, and I'm saying it's not going to be all rain coming at once. It's going to be rain changing to snow and accumulating, and that means it would have to melt off, so it would lower the rate of flow into the rivers.
Joe, I'm curious, is this weather unusual for this time of year?
Oh, yes. It's very unusual, but it's been set up by the extreme cold that we've had. We've had one of the coldest February and Marches on record back to back. It left the frost underneath in the ground. You had 3 to 6 inches of rain or liquid amounts in the snowpack because the snowpack would not melt. Underneath, the ground was frozen for 2 feet. Then a storm came up and, brought some warm air for a couple of days, and with it a lot of rain. A lot of that snow melted, and when it melted, it could not soak into the ground as it normally does. So the real power behind the throne over here is the fact that it was so darn cold for so long. Right? And this is opposite of what it's supposed to. Remember, it's not supposed to be snow and cold during the wintertime seasons, right? So this was so extreme on the other end of the spectrum. It led to all the snow. The snow did not melt. The ground was frozen underneath. When the big storm came along, March 13th and 14th, It warmed up, it rained, melted it, and it could not soak in, so it had to just flow right into the rivers all at once.
What is the forecast looking like as spring weather makes its arrival?
Well, I think that there's still about another 8 to 10 days of cold coming into the country, but I think you're going to see this year. Remember last year, April was very cold for the United States. I think April's going to flip, and in the Great Lakes Northeast, I think it's going to be warmer than normal, but a core of cold may remain back through the southern Rockies into Texas. When I say cold, I mean colder than normal, all right, because the normals are coming up in May. And by the way, that configuration where you're cold down in, you're colder than normal from Texas into the southwest Rockies like that, and it's warm to the north, may mean a less than active tornado season this year. So we're already looking at that.
Okay, terrific. Joe, folks here in Virginia, we've not even seen a flake of snow this winter, but at least we've had warm days. Joe, well, as always, thank you so much.
It'll balance out eventually, so
that's right.
Next year.
As always, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. Up next, a look at a new TV series on the History Channel that highlights the story of Jesus.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Welcome back to the CBN News Channel. The History Channel is helping Christians count down to Easter with a new 4-week series on Jesus. Jesus, His Life premieres tonight, and it takes a look at the story of Jesus through the eyes of Mary, Joseph, Peter, John the Baptist, Pontius Pilate, and many others. Here's a quick preview.
If you believe, you will see the glory of God.
Jesus is coming to Jerusalem to say that the current world is wrong and we need to change it now.
She was the one chosen by God.
It would have been difficult for Mary to tell Joseph what happened.
Joseph is conflicted. He doesn't immediately believe the story about the Holy Spirit. And then on the other hand, he doesn't want to hurt her.
Fascinating. You can catch the first episode of Jesus, His Life tonight at 8 Eastern on the History Channel. That is it for this edition of Newswatch. You can find more on the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com, and you can watch CBN News programs anytime on our CBN News channel. Plus, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. And by the way, you may want to send us a story idea that you'd like us to pursue. You can send it to us, email us at newswatch@cbn.com, or you can reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, folks, that is it for this week's, this particular edition of the CBN News channel. Right here from all of us here in the studio, as well as back in the control room. Wish you a wonderful rest of the day. See you guys.